Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a
And
non-gamer.
we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with
And
non-gamers.
today we're taking a look at Pack the Essentials by Wacky Wizard Games.
Pack the Essentials is a Polyomino game in which you are going to be packing the essentials into your suitcase. And with that, maybe some cats. Yeah, because as you can see, this game has cats featured on it. This comes from designer Jacqueline Atkins, and she just basically loves cats. She's a fellow board game reviewer, and this is her first board game design, and it is a polyomino game where you will be drafting different tiles, choosing your turn order, and with that, you'll get special goodies if you choose to go later in the round, which some of those goodies will allow you to turn the different things that you're packing into your suitcase, such as articles of clothing. You'll get to flip them over, and on the back side of those tiles are going to be cats. Because everybody knows packing your cats in your suitcase gets you bonus points. And that's what you really want in this game. You want your like-colored tiles to be next to each other, but you want to be able to flip them over for the cat sides to get the most points. Let's go down to the table. I'll show you how this one works, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have packed the essentials on the table. Let me show you all this polyomino cat-themed game. Now for components, what you're going to have a central board that is going to keep track of your 12 rounds using this little teeny tiny cat round marker. You do have these chunky wooden meeples for the different players in the game. These are going to be used to help keep your draft order organized. Looking over on this side of the board right here. You do have polyominoes in this game because this is a polyomino game. Now, the different polyominoes are going to have accessories, articles of clothing on one side, and cats on the other side. We'll come back to that here in a second. Those polyominoes are going to be held in this bag that you'll be drawing from throughout the course of the game. And there are lots of polyominoes in there. I don't know if you can see them or not. You do have lots of tokens in the game. We'll come back to all the tokens. You do have a score sheet with a dry erase marker that you can keep track of your score. And players are going to have their own little suitcase boards that are going to house all of their accessories and cats on them. Now, on one side of the board, the arrangement of these printed on things that are basically barriers, they're going to act as obstacles. On this side of the board, they're all the same across the different suitcase boards for all the players. But if you flip them over, then the arrangement is going to be different for each board. So you can play in a game where these items are different for each player. Now, you do have extra cards in the game, and we'll come back to those here in just a second, but that's it for the components. Let's talk about how this game plays. Starting with whoever is the first player, that person will decide in what order they want to draft for that round's polyomino tiles that are available. As you can see, there are 4 tiles in each round. So if I'm the first player, I might decide that I don't want to draft first. In fact, I want to draft third, and I would earn the bonus associated with that spot. So let's talk about what are the different bonuses. Well, if you take from the first or second spot, you're going to declare one color of the 4 different colors that are available of the tiles. You've got this lavender color, green, yellow, and orange. And so maybe I pick yellow. And if I were to have picked the first drafting spot, then I would get a yellow pair of underwear. So I've got mine separated in different baggies, separating the colors. But I've got my underwear and sock tiles in these bags. So I'm going to draw one out of each. And as you can see, there we go. We've got a pair of yellow socks and yellow underwear. Now, if I flip these over, there are cats on the back side of these. And we'll cover why there are cats on the back of everything in this game here in just a second. But I would earn myself yellow underwear, and I would get to place that on my board somewhere like so. Now, I am trying to group my colors together, so I want all my yellow tiles to be together. And as you can see, this is a 1 by 1, whereas those socks is a 1 by 2. And so, yeah. And if I were to have taken the second box, I would have earned myself a pair of socks. instead of underwear. So that's what the first two top boxes are going to do for you. The third and fourth box are going to earn you pack rats. Now, the third box is just a pack rat. Pack rats are going to be these little guys right here. And this is how you turn your tiles into cats. Now, if you have a pack rat, when you take a tile, either from one of the four right here or underwear and socks up there, you can spin the pack rat that you have, cashing it in, turning over the tile that you are going to be placing on your board that round into a cat. And now I can place that cat on my board. And that's important because each cat is worth 5 points at the end of the game. So you want to try to turn over as many of your tiles into cats as possible. And if I were to take the fourth spot, not only would I get a pack rat, but I would also earn a ball of yarn here, or pom-pom, or whatever this is. And essentially this is going to act as a filler, filling in any gaps in my board, because that could pertain to one of these to-do list cards over here, which we'll cover that at the end when we talk about in-game scoring. So let's say I take third, let's say yellow takes first, pink takes second, green takes fourth. Now this is going to determine the order that we get to draft our tiles after everybody has selected their turn draft order. So yellow would go first, and let's say yellow takes yellow, and they would place that on their board. Pink would go next, let's say pink takes tile number 1, and then it's my turn, and let's say that I take tile number 2. I would take my tile, and if I have a pack rat, I could spin that pack rat, turning it over into a cat. But if I don't have a pack rat, or I don't want to spend a pack rat, then I just have to keep it on the clothing/accessory side, and I have to place this somewhere on my board, and it is typical Polyomino placement rules. You got to place it fully within the spaces of the squares. You can't like tilt it like that. That's dumb. You can't go outside of the suitcase. That's dumb. Don't be dumb. You know the rules for Polyomino games if you've ever played one, so they got to go like that, right? And you want to try to group up your colors, because the bigger the section of colors that are all touching one another of the same color, then more points for you. And that's good. So I might do something like that, again, putting all my greens down here. And that would be the end of my turn. And then we would set up for the next round, passing the first player marker to the next player, and then they would get to determine what order they want to draft first in after we load up the board with more tiles. And that's essentially the gist of the game. We would play 12 rounds, and at the end of 12 rounds, we would add up our score, giving ourselves points based off of how big are the groups of the same color tiles that are touching one another. As you can see here, you can go all the way up to 12, earning yourself as many as 48 points. That's a lot of points. And as I've already said, your cats are worth 5 points apiece, and those cats do have color with them. So the cats themselves can also add to these same color touching tiles, in addition to giving you 5 extra points. So you want to try to turn over as many of these tiles into cats as possible. Now these to-do list cards, they're going to come in 3 different sets. You've got your top set right here. And for an example, this one says 2 points for every completed filled row in your suitcase. So that's where those little pom-poms can come in handy, helping you to fill up your rows. This one here for the purple set 2 list is going to say 2 points for every cat touching an underwear or sock item in your suitcase. And so that's an example. And then another example from this set right here, 2 points for every 4 squared tile in your suitcase. So you can randomize these up, change up the replayability with these sets of cards over here. And that's going to be the gist of the game. Now, I do want to talk about the Cat Lady tokens real quick, because let's say you're not playing a 3-player or a 4-player game. Let's say you're only playing with 3 players. Well, the Cat Lady token is going to act as a filler, filling in these draft order spots that don't get picked. And so how this would work is you would shuffle these up every round, and you would draw one, flipping it over, and it would tell you what spot that player is going to pick in terms of draft order when it's their turn to pick. And so you would just put it out here like so. And you could do this for multiple cat ladies. So if I'm only playing at a 2-player count, let's say, I could put 2 of these out here, and that would clog up even more. And they would also determine when they're drafting tiles out here as well. And so, yeah, that's a really cool factor with the game. That it acts as a dummy player, so to speak. Now, there is a solo mode of the game, and that takes on these solo cards over here. giving you a goal of points that you're trying to beat, depending upon what set of cards that you're also playing with for that particular game. But yeah, you can play against the solo of the version of the game. It's not a bot necessarily. It is going to take away some tiles from you. So I guess in a sense there is like a bot, but you're not competing against the bot. You're just competing against the score that you're trying to get. Anyhow, that is Pack the Essentials. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Pack the Essentials from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So, Sam, I feel like having done this channel with you for several years now, that if there's a type of board game that you generally favor and gravitate towards, it is polyominoes, tile laying, mixing those two things together. Yes. Tetris-like kind of games, yes. And that is exactly what you have here in this game. And then you also have cats, which you are a cat person.
Yes.
So what are your initial thoughts on Pack the Essentials?
Here's my thoughts on the cats. We are new cat parents as of last October. We have 2 foster fails, Rogue and Goose, that I'm going to ask Lance if they can be at the end of this video.
We'll see.
And our whole family is absolutely obsessed with them. So everything cats we're very into right now. So when you have cats plus my 2 favorite type of mechanics, like, this game's gonna be.
Yeah. Plus it has a very cute, welcoming artwork. And
we have traveled quite a bit. We know from experience when we're packing suitcases,
they're gonna hop in.
Our cats will hop in every single time. So it is a very accurate game.
Accurate, applicable theme. If you have cats, you know exactly what this theme is about.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the way the game plays and how it feels as you're playing it, because not all polyomino games are created equal. There are some that are better than others. And so with this particular one, the big idea, I think, with this one that maybe sets it apart is picking your turn order. Yeah. And that has a huge impact on what you can do with your tiles. Yeah. And so that's a little bit different. Yeah. So talk about that, picking your turn order and deciding when to go last, because that's a really big thing.
You really have to kind of have I wouldn't say like a specific plan, because you can do multiple things. Like, it's not like you can only put it in one spot and that's it until maybe the very end. But you really need to kind of think ahead a little bit. You don't want to wait till the end to get the balls of yarn or the pack rats. Like, you need to kind of space that out a little bit so that maybe you have some on the side to use periodically throughout the game when it's needed. So I think there's a little bit more strategy than meets the eye. Yeah,
I think this game was definitely something that was a little more surprising in that department, because on the surface it looks like it's going to be just a very kind of straightforward polyomino game where you're just drafting, okay, yeah, that works here, that works there, kind of thing. And then obviously as you get closer to the end of the game, there's going to be fewer spaces, and it's going to get a little, harder to be able to decide, well, okay, well, do I put that here? How's that going to work? But then you throw in that, you want those pack rats, because if you don't get those pack rats, then you're not maximizing these tiles, and you're missing out on huge opportunities for points throughout the course of the game, especially if you keep letting other people get them all the time. And so that really creates a separation in the game from you and the other players. So you've got to go for those pack rats periodically throughout the course of the game. Now that means you're getting, the sloppy seconds of the tiles, whatever's left over. So you got to figure out how to make that work.
And for me, the whole idea of polyominoes and tile laying is creating a perfect no gap. So I wanted those balls of yarn, and you only get those if you are 4th, if you are very last.
Right. Is that, you're right. Yeah. It is.
So even with 3 people playing, we only played with 3 people, they could be 1st, 2nd, and you would still have to choose the 4th. To get that ball of yarn. So, but I did think that there would be more competition for that first spot. But I think we all were kind of like, there seemed to be more competition for the yarn and the pack rat.
I think you start to discover pretty early on how valuable those pack rats and balls of yarn can be. I mean, obviously the socks and underwear, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, the smaller...
The smaller pieces are valuable too, because you need to, fill up spots as well. And plus they're multicolored, so they can count whatever color you want them to be.
But at the end, you really have to think look, I only have these 2 spaces left. I need these shapes.
Right.
But I also know that with what's out there, I need the yarn.
Yeah.
So it's like you're sitting there choosing the 4th and praying that nobody takes the one tile. But it's fun.
It is fun with that. Okay, let's get to pros and cons here. Sam, the bullet point highlights that work really well for you with this particular game. What are they?
Cats, tiling, polyominoes. Traveling, I guess. No, but I do think that it's not just a plastered on theme. I think it does work. It is humorous, but it is real life for cats. So I just think that that's fun. It's not that somebody that just likes cats and they're like, oh, throw it on Monopoly. This is a true to itself cat game. And so I think that's a lot of fun. I love that the boards are shaped like suitcases. That the smaller pieces are socks and underwear. Like they just did a really good job of creating
this game
and creating the theme. So I really liked that.
Speaking of those suitcases, me as a gamer, one thing that I really like about them is that they're double-sided, and on the back side is the asymmetrical arrangement of the stuff that's already in the suitcase printed on the boards, because you do have certain elements that are printed on there that act kind of more as like obstacles that you have to work out around, but you've got the side where everybody has the same exact arrangement, so it's equal for everyone, and then you can flip it over on the other side and it'd be different for everyone too. So that's a nice feature of the game. Some of the things that I really like about it, it has a solo mode, and so anytime that you can put in a solo mode with a game, I'm there for it. It's a relatively pretty quick game. I mean, it's 30 to 45 minutes according to the box.
You're making those decisions pretty quick. It's not like you're just sitting. Maybe at the end you're taking a little bit more time, but it's quick rounds.
For sure. And as we've already said several times, I think there's a good amount of strategy built in with that, picking your turn order and deciding when to go earlier, when to go later. And that becomes a pretty weighty decision as the game continues to unfold. And you're like, oh, wait, I absolutely have to have that one blue piece because I need a final blue piece. So I got to go early to make sure I get it, versus, no, I really need another cat. So yeah, that's a fun part of the game. All right, what are the cons? Maybe the things that don't work so great with this one.
I wish there was other ways of getting the yarn. Maybe, I don't know what that would be. Maybe not necessarily by the space, but maybe, I don't know, maybe certain tiles could give you the opportunity, because they're really, like, you have to be fourth. And there's a lot of times where you're like, well, I would, like to be, I need to be higher up than number 4, especially if 4 people are playing. I could see that as even more of an obstacle. Like I said, we've only played with 3. So if you're 4th, you're still having to choose between 2 pieces. If you're 4th, playing with 4 people, you were stuck with that last one.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I can see the reason for it. Obviously, because the balls of yarn are very valuable, filling in your last open spots. Square. Yeah, and that's super important. So I can understand why they make it very difficult to get, but I do agree with what you're saying as well, that it's kind of like, well, dang, how am I going to get this if you don't get it?
Did you start with any?
I think maybe you get 1. I don't know. It's hard to remember off the top of my head, but or maybe you get a pack rat. You definitely get a pack rat. I don't know about a ball of yarn, but yes, you're right. It is hard to get that. And to a degree, I would also say that about the pack rats, and they're not as hard to get because you can get it in 3rd or 4th. But still, similar idea with that. For me, I felt like it would be nice if there was just one more element added to the game. And that's just the gamer in me kind of talking with this one. Now, a pro...
enjoy something. You have to make it difficult.
A pro for the game that we didn't mention are going to be those universal goals that everybody is working towards, and that there are lots of goals to choose from, so there's a lot of replayability with that. And I do enjoy that because you can mix them up and you can change up the game, and that does provide a unique blend of what you're trying to do with these polyominoes. I think there would be maybe space for an expansion to add into this, where there's an event that happens for each round. Something that just changes it up. Or, you get extra things if you go early on in the round. Something that ruins
the whole thing. Lance would love that.
Just something that shakes it up, that, can change from round to round. Not a major thing with that at all. Just feels like there could be space for that with this one, if you wanted something like that added to the game. But if you're like, no, this game is good as it is, well then my con doesn't matter to you.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Okay, let's get to our final scores here with this particular one. Sam, I'm going to start with you first. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where does Pack the Essentials come in at for you?
I think I say this every year that like my top 10 is going to be all polyominoes. But if there's a polyomino game, there's a good chance it's going to be in my top 10 somewhere.
Okay.
And I would probably give this an 8.2.
So you really liked this one a lot.
It. I liked the theme and the mechanics. So this is just a win for me.
Okay. Yeah, I knew kind of from the very get-go that this was going to be a game.
It was like, don't even know how to play it, just buy it.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a good one for you. Now, this is a review copy. I do want to make sure to say that. It is from Wacky Wizard Games. They gave it to us at Gen Con. But the reason why I'm bringing that up now is because that was one that was on my short list of games that I was like, yeah, I'm going to need to get a copy of that to play with Sam. And said as much in my meeting with Wacky Wizard. So, yeah, I can see why she really likes this, and I'm trying to keep my score separate from the fact of how much she likes it, although I'm just going to have to say that I enjoy games more when I feel like the people around me are enjoying them, and so
there's a lot of games he doesn't like.
That may be true. I don't know. But that is not the case with this particular one. It's the exact opposite in the sense that Sam really likes it, so that makes me kind of enjoy it more. So trying to separate myself from that as much as possible, I feel like this is a solid game. It's not anything that like just completely, is earth-shattering for me, but I do think it's probably about a 7.3, 7.4, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's a very good game for me, one that I'd be happy to play anytime that Sam wants to play. So
he's saying, if you have any games out there that you think Sam would like, send it to us and Lance will give you a higher score.
Probably so. But there you have it, guys. That's our thoughts here on Pack the Essentials. It is from Wacky Wizard Games. We are going to try to get the cats brought in real quick, so just give us one quick second while we pause the video. Okay, we got them in. They are cats. They hate this, but these are our cats.
That's Rogue, and this is Goose.
Rogue and Goose, and then they're gone. So, but anyhow, that is our cats. This is Pack the Essentials. Hopefully that was entertaining to you guys, because that was a lot of work trying to get them in the video there in the last 5 seconds of the video.
We were trying to be true to the theme.
Anyway, leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this game.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.